Hey, what's up? Welcome to the Power and The Punchline. This is where the power gets honest and the punchline actually means something. We talk leadership, culture, influence, and real life. No fluff, no filters. I'm Rudy Rush. Let's get powerful.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are here. The inaugural, for those that don't know, that means the first episode of the Power and The Punchline, a new podcast that I'm honored to do with someone who not only is a friend, but is like the big brother I never had. I call him the prodigal, Mr. Rudy Rush. Rudy, we're here, brother.
Hey, you know what's so funny? Like, I'm an older brother. I got younger brothers, but at the same time, I get that little moniker now when I go out. I'm OG. I'm this, and I'm actually embracing it. So it's actually fun to be with somebody who I really respect. You know what I mean? Somebody who I actually look up to as well. And this is exciting for me, man. This is a little different. But at the same time, I'm excited about it.
Me too, man. And you brought up something that we should actually talk about now. You know, it's not even in the script and the flow of what we're going to do. But at what point do you go from big bro, OG, to Unc, to just that old mofo that's just over there acting up? Like what are the stages of these names? Like, we should talk through that real quick.
Now, you know what? The funny thing is, when you go to court or you go to some of these depositions, they have experts in the field. Experts in the field. There's people who have done it. And you know what? I like to think of myself as an expert in the field. And what I mean by that, when I got into the game, I was the youngest guy in comedy before Kevin Hart came along, of course. But I was 19 years old in 1993. And so being a younger brother, being the youngest one for such a long time, it was a transition for me, being in my mid to late 40s and now at 52. Some of the younger generation, I would go to college campuses or I'll do a show and they'd be like, yo, I used to listen to you when I was in high school, or my mom was a fan of yours. And it started to trickle in that way. And I started to feel a little weird. But as a term of endearment, a lot of these younger artists and even someone who's a little younger than me like yourself is like, yo, I really was flowing with what you were doing. And I see you as an Unc. I see you as an OG. I take it as a responsibility. I try to give back as far as, the energy I give off if somebody needs some advice. So I like it. I like the term. And I look good for an old dude.
You said you were 52. What y'all don't know is Rudy took like 20 years. Rudy is a good 75 years old. I'm just throw that out there.
Don't tell nobody.
Hey, man. So everybody that's watching and listening probably want to know, Power and the Punchline, where'd that come from? How'd you two meet? How'd this all get started? Man. I think we got a story to tell, man, because this is going to lay the framework of what all of our episodes are going to be about. But how we first met, man, like I'll never forget. I travel a lot. Yeah. Everybody knows I speak. I have clients across the country. I'm home maybe 40, 50 days a year. And I come home and I was just ready to go to bed, man. Like, I got home on a Friday, late afternoon. I was ready to put my feet up and just not do nothing because I've been gone for like 5 straight weeks. And my wife was like, hey, we're going to go to a comedy show tonight. We're going to go see Bill Bellamy. And I was like, all right, it's local, it's home, it's Bill. Let me go check this comedy show out. I'm sitting down, had my beverage of choice in hand, and the show was getting ready to start. I'm sitting up front row, and I hear, welcome your host, Mr. Rudy Rush. And my mind was like, hold on. Because I'm a comedy connoisseur, right? Yeah. Like, I know how shows go. You got your host, your feature, your headliner, right? Like, that's typically the order. That's typically the order, and the headliner's supposed to be the guy that everybody comes to see. I hear your host, Rudy Rush, and I was like, wait a second. I'm hearing things. Did he say Rudy and Rush together?
They didn't even say special guest host. They just said your host.
Your host, Rudy Rush. And all comedy venues are different, right? Sometimes the host is like somebody that's local to that city, and they're working on their game, and they eventually want to be a feature where they get 10 minutes to do their set.
You got it.
And I was like, Rudy Rush, and I turned to my right and I see the real Rudy Rush walking on stage, and I turned and I said, wait a second, this show is about to be fire if this starting with Rudy Rush is the host. Rudy Rush hosting.
Yes.
Comedy.
Yes.
That's not how we started. That's how we got introduced. Rudy Rush, for those that don't know, somebody that I looked up to for a long time. Y'all all know I'm from South Carolina. Rudy did a stint in South Carolina. Now he's back in South Carolina.
Yes.
But he was always that person, right? You talked about Def Jam at a young age, hosting Showtime at the Apollo, all the accolades. That's who I saw walking on the stage. And I was like, one of my top favorite comedians ever.
Wow.
Is about to come here and host. And you gave it to us, bro. Like, you gave us Rudy Rush. And I was sitting there like, so I can be real now.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there like, I don't want to be the next guy. And I don't know if I want to be Bill Bellamy right now, because that energy was like.
Yeah. It was deliberate, you know what I mean? And deliberate in the sense of, we'll talk more about it, but the position I was in, a lot has transpired in the past few years that put me in that place. But, like a lot of your speeches or just your faith and you being grounded in God and all that, it was just where I was supposed to be at that particular point in my life, which actually has us right here and doing many other things. Some people to look at that like what is Rudy doing here? And just to give you a little insight, I had done radio my 30 plus years in entertainment. I did about maybe 20 of it in radio. I got into radio around 2005 with the great late Doug Banks out of Chicago, and he was nationally syndicated like a Tom Joyner or one of those big names in radio. And I got in there because things in my life kind of flowed me towards flying under the radar. I had this immense amount of talent, but I had I would say in most cases, little bit of confidence. Like I knew what I was doing on stage. I can do that easy. And then radio became easy to me too. And people couldn't see who I was. We didn't have the internet. So anyway, I'm making a long story short. That's kind of how I got boxed into radio. And then because of COVID, I lost my radio contract, which if you know anything about radio at the time, they, before COVID, they were making millions of dollars in radio. And now things like podcasting and just, the pandemic itself kind of took away. And so people like myself lost contracts and just couldn't get their footing back, plus other life things happening. So it just got me back to saying, hey, I'm going to go to my roots. I'm going to go back to the stage and realize that there was a new frontier, so to speak. You got the social media cats, and then you got people like Bill himself who was doing theaters, coming back to the clubs and doing very well. So it was very hard to get booked. So I called him and he called me back and was like, hey man, first he was like, you need to borrow some money? I said, I do need some money. But if you're nice enough to let me come out on the road and I could show some of these clubs that I still have what it takes to be a headliner. So that's kind of where it came about. And it actually lasted a little longer. I was on the road with it for 2.5 years because things have changed even in booking comedy clubs. So that's how you got to meet me. So, but I honestly feel that was one of the greatest things, because even as we talk later on in our series, that was actually my last night working with Bill. And it was like, just like you was kind of like on the fence about coming out.
Yeah.
I was absolutely on the fence about coming to do that show. And because I was in South Carolina, I was like, I'm going to go.
Yeah. And as they say, the rest is history. But for everybody watching or listening, I'm going to put it together. So Rudy's on stage doing his thing. And if you go to comedy clubs, comedy shows, a lot of times your host, your feature, sometimes your headliner, they're backstage offering some things for sale, right? Because you don't have to make ends meet, but you got bills you want to pay. You want some comfort money, as I like to call it, right? So I'm exiting and Rudy is backstage. Rudy has, let me get it a little look.
The Joe Gorilla, yes,
the sweatshirt I got on right now, Rudy had backstage. And Rudy, it's a size large, by the way.
Nice.
Size large. But someone was trying to negotiate with Rudy, I'll just say that, in front of me. And I was like, man, this is Rudy Rush. They're over here trying to negotiate with this cat like his name is not Rudy Rush, right?
Okay.
And so I see this, and I'm like, hey, man, like, let me just get that shirt. I don't even care what it is. Like, let me just get it. And I don't even care how much you're charging for it. Here you go, right?
No, tell the truth. He paid me extra, man. And I was like, yo, dog, I tried to give you some extra merchandise. You was like, no, that's
I was like, I don't even know what size this is, but I'm just going to rock it.
Yeah.
And so then I immediately go on Instagram, give you a quick, or I thought I was going to go like, hey, just want to say what's up, whatever. I go in and this dude in between sets has already messaged me on Instagram and was like, hey, man, appreciate you coming through. Do you mind if I ask you a question? And I was like, hold on. But then it was just, hey, I researched you and would love to ask some questions around mentorship. And I'm like blown away because, again, all the accolades I could give Rudy, the fact that he wanted to just chat with me, pick my brain, I was blown away.
Yeah.
And that's when we realized just how much we had in common as human beings. Like, forget life experiences, but just values and the heart that we both have. Like, we started calling each other brother, and we started texting and calling each other 3-4 times a day as if we were family. And then it was like, hey, dude, we need to go do this podcast and talk about this message and like just really blow it. And that's how we got to the Power and the Punchline.
No, absolutely. And I saw you as a brother immediately. And I have to tell the audience, man, as a man, and you know, people can speak to their lineage and stuff like that. But I come from the hood, and I come from a pretty decent background in the sense where pride could be misconstrued as so many different things. And one of the things that, you know, I was not so like sat down and told not to do this, but it's just kind of like, you know, something you just grew up with. You don't ask for help. You kind of get things done on your own, or if people are willing to help you, yeah, then you know you'll accept it. But to actually go and help and come from a point of what someone would consider weakness, I didn't see it as that. I said, you know what? I see something in Mick and your lovely wife. You know what I'm saying? And that was another thing, you know, funny point. I was like, yo, your wife followed me too. I'm gonna follow her back. That's cool. Like, yeah, like I'm like, ain't no way this brother's gonna know I'm coming straight from the respect of he's a man and really saw what you were doing. And I honestly feel because of what I have done throughout my career and the lives that I've affected without even trying to, I was like, you know what? I think Mick can kind of mentor me into moving into a different space and not having to compromise who I am.
Yeah.
And that was the reason why immediately, like you said, it was in between shows. You wasn't even home yet. I was like, yo, God told me to send this to you, and you answered, bro. And we right here. So I'm excited, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So, audience, the love fest is over. We just wanted you to know how we got to know each other and where this is going. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about how we're going to structure this podcast as we move forward. We're always going to have topics that we talk about. Rudy's going to give you a top 5 of something. We never script it. It's just whatever's going on today or something that's on his brain. When he gives you his top 5, I might give you the Mount Rushmore of his top 5. So we'll go through that. But we just want to make sure we're connecting with everybody, man. We just want to make sure we're connecting, always have a good message, always have a good topic or topics that we want to talk about. And I think today, the timing is there. You know, we're beginning a new year. And I totally believe, like, this is an exercise I do every year, Rudy. I look at my circle, beginning of the year. Some people get added in, some people stay. And the hard part, some people gots to go. Some people gots to go. And it's not a bad thing, because this is what I want everybody to understand. It's your circle, right? Like, it is your circle. But Rudy, man, like, do you go through a process where you look at your circle, evaluate it? And if so, like, how do you determine who makes the cut?
So, you know, it's funny you should speak on that. You said something to me like a couple of months back when we first started talking and, you know, things started progressing. You were like, yo, man, you know, and it really meant a lot when you said it. And I understood exactly. You know, one thing about understanding people when they say things, it's a lot different than just hearing it and just going about your day. When you said, I'm going to bring you into my circle, like that meant so much, especially at the time, because to answer your question, you know, there's some people who I had to delete from my circle, and my circle was so big, meaning like I felt like, you know, that kind of survivor's remorse, like brothers and sisters and friends, anybody who was attached to my story to some degree. If you came to my first show, I felt indebted to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, you know, I had to take account for that because it got me unfocused on what's important, which is me and the circle. Because, you know, the people in the circle benefit from me, but I benefit from them as well. And I wasn't benefiting from just taking care of everybody. So, yeah, so for me, it was something in the past 5 years, all the things that I've been going through and learning about myself. I was like, you know what? I still love this guy. I still love this girl, and I still am friends with this person and this family member, but I can't connect with them the way I normally would. I'll be here for them, but I cannot hang out. I cannot have a conversation that doesn't require me lending my space and my time to you. So to that, yeah, I just learned about circles and how to maneuver and figure them out. So I'm brand new to it, but I'm very well versed in it. And when you accepted me into yours, I was just like, yo, I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. And for everybody that's watching, that's listening to this, I'm going to kind of go through what I do to evaluate my circle. So for me, it always starts with mentorship. So who are the people that are truly my mentors that are pushing me, guiding me, giving me the wisdom that I need to be the best person or the best version of myself that I could possibly be? And I believe in having multiple mentors because it's like coaches, right? Like you need your shooting coach to help you shoot, right? You need that position coach to teach you everything about the position. And then you need the head coach that literally is giving you the strategy, that's giving the vision for everything. So I believe in having multiple mentors because there's different facets of all that I do. And I need people that are strong in those things. And so my mentors today start with Robert Irvine, Damon John, and Chris Voss. Like those are the three people that today, not when I need something, because that's not what you should do with mentors. You don't reach out to mentors when you need something. But when it's time to go deeper in a direction, when it's time to say, hey, Mick, you need to look in the mirror. Those are the three people I know are always going to tell me the truth and provide a roadmap or answer of where I need to go. So I always start my circle with who are my mentors, who are they right now, and are we getting the right things out of mentors? Because, you know this, Rudy, sometimes people that label themselves as mentors are really the ones looking for the game. Or, as I like to say, trying to get the game.
No, totally. And I've had some of those in my life, So when I asked you that question, it was one of course, being humble, but I also was taking accountability for the times that I thought I was being mentored, the times I thought I was being protected, the times that I thought that someone had my best interest or the interest of people in general. And it wasn't like that. Like you said, they were taking advantage, and they had a position where they were definitely telling me a lot of good things. I've gotten a lot of good out of the relationship, but it hurt me ultimately because they didn't have my best interest. They had their pockets and their intent and their family goals ahead of and using me as the facilitator. So, even when these young guys call me OG or Unc and this and that, or people like yourself, you're younger than me, and I see you as a mentor because I feel like the maturity and the things that I saw, I was like, you know what, I can learn a lot and I can bring something. See, mentorship is something that, what I'm saying? I said, Mick and I, there's a whole bunch of stuff that he probably knows, but there's also things he does not know about me that we can collaborate, and I'll take his lead and we'll do something fantastic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, I like the whole idea. The mentorship meant something totally to me at 50 than it did at 25.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So again, I start with evaluating my mentors. And again, sometimes mentors come in and out of the circle, right? Like it could just be, all right, I'm good here. I now need another mentor that's going to do this piece. But my three solids are always Damon John, Robert Irvine, Chris Voss. Like those are my guys. And then I look at family. And here's what I'm going to say. Family doesn't necessarily mean blood. Like family to me is like the people that I can go to. So here is where it is for me when I do need that mental health support, when I do need that emotional system. Who are those folks? Because, being a leader, being someone who owns multiple businesses, there are times, man, where I'm not going to say I need to shut down, but like I just need like to virtually cry on somebody's shoulder. You know what I mean? Like I need to just sometimes just be able to have an outlet where I'm not talking about work. And it's like, hey, I'm struggling and I don't need mentorship. I just need that emotional outlet. So who are my emotional outlets? Who are the people that aren't going to judge me, that know my heart, that know my intent, that, again, I'm not saying I need a pat on the shoulder, but just sometimes I just need that emotional outlet.
Yeah. No, you need that ear, somebody who understands and can kind of like really put themselves, because they've been around you, so they know the ebbs and flows of how you move. And if you have an issue with something, if you're somebody, especially someone who's very lighthearted most of the time, and you're trying to bring light to other people, sometimes when you're down, that person can see through it And you need that. You know, I've had someone reach out to me recently because I've changed a lot, and I'm not happy about it, honestly. You know, part of it is like, okay, I'm maturing. This is what I wanted. You know what I mean? All through my life, because being a comedian, there's a sense of silly or jovialness that just kind of comes along with it. Everybody's like, oh, he's a comic. He's a funny guy all the time, being cheerful and bringing smiles to people. But at the same time, when there's a moment where you not feeling good or you feeling like, you know, that depression or some kind of thing is creeping around the corner when things are not going well. And this is the season for me. 28 years before COVID. Never had a problem. The only time the bill collector would call was like, sir, your card expired. Can we get the new one?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm the first brother in my neighborhood had stuff on automatic pay. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I don't mess with automatic pay no more. I'm one of them brothers I be unlocking my card at the grocery store. Let me unlock this before Apple get to it so I can get these apples, you know?
Yes, sir.
So no, you need somebody who can totally understand and you could break down. And if it comes to tears and stuff like that, you need somebody who can understand outside, like you said, like outside of a family, outside of a mentor, someone who just kind of gets your journey and can give you some insight.
Yes, sir. And then that third piece in my circle are the people that's going to kick me in the butt, right? They're always going to tell me the truth. They're never going to let me be satisfied. They always are like, hey, even if they're not the person that can go to that level, they're pushing me to get there, right? And they're pushing me to always be the best version of myself. And they're holding me accountable to that on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis. Those are my three parts, bro. Like I need the mentorship, I need that emotional support, but probably the biggest part is I need that group or those people that are gonna hold me accountable and push me and not let me settle.
No,
That's my circle,
absolutely.
bro.
No, absolutely, man. And that, listen, when you got a circle like that, you really can't lose. You know what I mean? I've had people like that in my life, but like I said, you know, sometimes, you know, you realize you look back and I don't have that person pushing, or I don't have that emotional outlet that doesn't require me tending to their needs first. You know what I mean?
Right.
And even with the mentorship, I've had some great mentors early on in my career, some comedians who have passed on and some older comics, you know. And like I said, when I was younger, I was the baby of the group. I was like at the minimum 6 years younger than everybody. There was a lot of people like Bernie and Cedric and those guys like 10 years older than me. And so, you know, I always was treated with like, you know, because I was pretty good, you know, for a young guy. So and I was respectful. So I got a lot of love in that. You know, nobody was really out to get me or shoo me away except for Steve Harvey, who that's a story right there. I worked with Steve for 3 years as his warm-up guy. Never sat down, had a meal with him, never had a moment to say, yo, thanks, you did a great job. It was kind of tough. That was a moment where, you know, it was a setback in the sense where even though my career was moving forward, it was something that I needed or I looked for in him that I didn't receive. And it was tough, but yeah, you know, I've forgiven Steve because I see the playing field and how it was. The people who were mentoring me and taking advantage were also trying to, you know, do dirty by him. And I was with them. So I had to kind of get some of the brunt of, you know, his hostilities. And I understand and I respect it now. I mean, I wouldn't have done it myself that way, but at the same time, I get his position.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's tough.
Totally strong, man. Totally strong. And so again, that's how I evaluate my circle of who stays in. And then we talk about who gets kicked out, right? And by kicking out, it doesn't mean that like we're no longer friends, we're no longer tight or anything like that. It's just my circle is my circle, right? Like my circle knows the deepest, darkest secrets. They know the vulnerabilities, they know the weaknesses, they know all of that. And so I have this saying about how do you determine when someone is no longer that fit? Yeah. And I always say this, never pour into people that leave you empty. So if you're pouring, right, at some point that cup needs to be refilled.
Yeah.
Maybe not immediately, but at some point that
But you got to
should get
see it. Yeah.
refilled.
You got to see somebody attempting to fill it up.
Yeah. And so I started to realize, or I continue to realize, there are a lot of times where it's give. And to a certain extent, that's okay. But I'm never going to pour into people that leave me empty, though. And
listen,
and we all know that feeling. We all know that feeling. You just got to acknowledge that feeling.
No, absolutely. Let me tell you, you brought me into the circle. Let me know if I get close to the edge of the circle. I want to stay to the middle. give me a 2-week notice. Yo, bro, you getting close to the edge of that circle. I'm like, okay, let me feel this coming up. But no.
Hey, Unc, 2-week notices went out a long time ago. People just quit these days, bro. Like I don't know anybody that's giving a 2-week notice.
Okay, it's immediate. Like, let's show security. Let's see.
Right. This is my notice.
Nah, absolutely.
I'm not back.
Nah, totally, man. But nah, having the circle is important, and I'm working on mine. You know what I mean? Like, you making me a part of yours makes me feel like I'm a part of something that I have to. I wake up every day like, okay, boom, boom, boom. You see me post things, and I'm watching you post, and I'm like, like supporting, even sometimes with, and I know Damon from years ago, because his career has spanned light years from where it was when he started with FUBU. I used to be in that warehouse in that showroom, and them dudes used to give me clothes, and I used to sit with him and his partners at the time and be like, yo, I'm not going to take this unless I'm doing a TV show. Like, that's how far back we go. You know what I mean? But to see that you guys have a relationship and he's done some phenomenal things, and the way he still thinks and moves today is something that I'm not only proud of him, but at the same time, I want to just get some of that knowledge. And, I have stuff to give too. That's the one thing I love about myself right now. You got to love yourself. I'm like, I bring a lot to the table, and not only just talent, but I have connections, and I've helped so many people. And, I want to learn from you how to really manifest that and put that forward and make that a thing that's a part of my life, helping people in the way that needs to be done.
No, for sure.
Like you always mean. Yeah.
This piece of the segment right here, we'll call this the Damon John segment. Coconut water, by the way.
Hey, now I saw somebody promoting that. It's a chocolate.
So they have all types of flavors.
Yeah, I saw somebody was promoting the chocolate one.
My favorite one is the chocolate one. So here's a little something about Mick. I don't like a lot of chocolate unless it's got peanut butter. But this I can drink all day. But one, Damon got me introduced to coconut water, but more importantly, we all know the brilliant mind that Damon John has.
Yeah.
Literally my favorite person in the world. Like, even before I got to know him personally, always was the person I wanted to be and be like. But when I talk to Damon, yeah, we talk business, but we talk more health and wellness than anything, right? Like his sharkjevity, his biohacking that he's doing, man, like something you two have in common. He taught me how to fast. He taught me the different things to do to take care of my body, which is why I've gone from a double XL down to a large, bro. Like I'm happy about that.
I'm proud of you too.
I know some people like, you still look double XL. I don't care. I know what these clothes say. I know what these clothes say.
Yeah.
But nah, man, like him teaching me how to fast and incorporating that into, it is now my weekly thing. Like I do 40 hours a week consecutively, right? And it started just by happenstance. Like I had an event that Damon was at, and I hadn't eaten all day. And then our meal ended up being very, very late. So it's like 10, 11 o'clock by this point. I was like, well, I'm not going to eat. He goes, well, if you could make it till 12 tomorrow, you would have done 40 hours. And I was like, oh, is that a challenge? Like, okay, because I'm the most competitive person I know. And so I'm like, let's roll. So I did 40 hours and it was easy. And he was like, ha, 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 wait, see if you can do it again next week before you start talking about his
Yeah.
Then I go and I do it the next week and I'm like, hey, 40 hours isn't bad if you can stay occupied, right? Like it's actually not bad. And so now it's become a weekly thing. And like he's giving me different insights on, all right, so when you come off the fast, eat avocado. Right? Like let your stomach get used to something before you just go eat a double cheeseburger or a bowl of ice cream, right? Like
exactly.
Slowly build it up. And then he's got, some different probiotics and different nutrients that he's turned me on to that help. So what I get out of Damon John is like really his biohacking. Like, yeah, he has a brilliant business mind and we do talk business, but I'm telling you, the last 6 months, his biohacking has worked. And then I saw Rudy getting his fast on and yoga. And I was like Unks do yoga now? Okay.
Yeah, we got to. This is one thing that I'm definitely going to do this. I'm going to start a group or maybe even write a book about my fitness journey because I've always been asked about it. And one of the things I stopped doing, a lot of people don't know, I stopped drinking about 1.5 years ago. And for no other reason other than I was training and I was like, man, my belly don't go down like it used to. And the trainer was like, yeah, you got that sugar in there. Like, if you got to stop, cut out the drinking. She didn't say stop drinking completely. But when I stopped drinking for a minute, a month turned into 2. And then it just started getting competitive for me. I was like, oh, I could do 2, I could do 4 months, you know? And so luckily for me, I was able to go cold turkey, and then I stopped, I cut out chicken out of my diet because of some inflammation issues. So I just kind of just go for the organic. I haven't cut out chicken completely, but we eat a lot of chicken, chicken wings, fingers, tenders. There's so many ways to eat chicken as opposed to steak and hamburger and things like that. So, I do things in moderation, a lot of vegan type foods now. So anyway, we got a lot to discuss about that because like
Are we
yourself,
the only 2 brothers that don't eat like fried chicken like that? Like I'll do chicken tenders. I don't eat chicken on a bone though. I don't
no,
eat
you
dark meat
shouldn't
chicken either.
listen, you shouldn't eat fried anything. But the way we are constructed in this world now, like for me, like I don't see myself never being able to indulge in a steak. Like that can't happen. I can cut back on the red meat, but I gotta have a steak in my mind. I gotta have some ice cream at some point, or pizza at some point. I gotta have a pizza with some pepperoni. It could be once a year, but I gotta have it. You know what I mean? So I'm working towards getting to the place where I'm just free and healthy, and I can eat nothing but grass. But right now, I'm sorry. Like you said, I need that peanut butter and chocolate together. I got the Reese's in the refrigerator, in the freezer ready.
All day. That is
All
my
day,
go-to.
bro. Yeah, yeah,
That is
yeah.
my go-to. But I think what I just heard though is that Rudy is about to start a training. Unc's doing yoga. That's what we're doing. Unc's doing yoga.
Is
Hot
that
yoga at that. I don't even know what hot yoga is. I just hear it all the time.
business line?
That's it. Unc's doing yoga.
Hey, you know what? I did yoga once. And let me tell you, I don't even know if it was beneficial because I was just in there with a room of 40 women and everybody was stretching. Sorry, ladies. My focus, look, people were like, your body looks great. Your dexterity. I was like, did you see the chick in the back with the yoga hands on? It was hot in there. Everybody was dripping, pouring sweat. I was like, yeah, I'll be back next week. I had a whole membership, Mick. And I
And then
wasn't
COVID
creepy with
happened.
it. I would just go home. I wasn't creepy. I was just there. I'm just here. I'm just here to get healthy. Y'all do your thing.
That's how it starts.
Yeah, that's exactly
how it starts. That's how it starts. So, we told everybody the framework of the show. So, we talked about mentorship a lot. We talked about health and wellness. Rudy, what's your top 5 today, man? What's on your heart?
My gosh. All right. So listen,
what's the top 5 we talking about today?
So because we're starting at the end of the year, the beginning of the year, all in one thing, it's the holiday season. So I was thinking, Mick, I was like, yo, what better way to start our journey with our show, with our podcast, which will be number 1 soon. Remember that. No, the top 5 is things that I'm going to pull from everything that men and women and we as people kind of go back and forth with. But today is for the men because you know what? We're 2 men and this is going to be a manly show, but we care about the kids and the women and all that. But these are things that they need to know about us. So in my top 5 today, these are the top 5 things that men hate about the holiday season.
Let's go.
Okay. Yeah. These are things that we hate. So pay close attention. All right. Number 1 is working on our days off. Now, once I say that, you put your head back, you know exactly what I mean. But your wife doesn't seem to understand that you ain't trying to climb up in nobody's attic to get no Christmas decorations. You ain't trying to be the shuttle back and forth for the kids that came from out of town. The nieces and nephews want to go to the mall or to the store. You're not the shuttle service or going to pick up in-laws from the airport. They got Uber for that. I'm off. These are my days off.
Thank you. That's
So
number
that's
one.
number 2. Number 2, leaving the confines and comfort of my home to go somewhere that doesn't share my taste for amenities. Like if we're going to your sister's house or we're going to a relative's house, I need the game on Thursday on Thanksgiving. I need to see basketball on Christmas Day. And I need my favorite chips and food and drink and stuff like that. If none of that is there, and this is my wife's or girlfriend's or somebody who's inviting me, it's their duty to find out what I like. If none of that is there, and there needs to be a comfortable chair and or couch, I'll be respectful to the man in the house. I know there's always one lounge chair, but I need some place to sit comfortably and out of the way of the children.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What you think
gotta
about
be
that?
on.
Do you have a chair at home? Do you have a chair?
Right.
You have a chair at home?
Yes, sir.
Is anyone allowed? I know your wife is allowed to sit in the chair, but is anyone else? She's not even.
My chair, my cheeks. My chair, my cheeks. Only.
Yeah,
Only.
Diddy can't say that because he's not in that situation. His cheek, everybody's cheeks. All right, number 3. Listen, I am not, and I repeat, I am not eating Thanksgiving leftovers on December 3rd. Pack that up, throw it out. Like I think maybe 2 days. It usually falls on the 24th, sometimes 27th. That's the last time I'm gonna partake in a piece of turkey, mac and cheese, anything Thanksgiving. 3 days later, then pack it up and take it somewhere. Just
So
get it away from me.
let me ask you this question, because since we had a Damon John segment earlier,
Uh-huh.
Damon has frozen a turkey leg and 2 years later going back and eating it.
What?
Yes.
I don't think you could do that. I gotta look into that.
No, you don't. Don't feed.
You could.
Don't feed his story on how to do it. No.
I
When
think you could chat
he told me
GPT
that, I just looked at him and I almost got up and left. I said that might be the most disgusting thing I've ever had in my life.
Man, that's crazy. He gonna try to bring out FUBU again with that. I don't know about that one. But this is one thing I'm sure you do this, and you may not like it. I know you don't. Another thing that men don't like is matching PJs. Ladies, it's the holidays. We get it. We all in the Christmas spirit. But if I gotta wear the same little red and green pajamas that you got, so we could take pictures, and now the kids got them. The in-laws came over. You got a set for them. You didn't tell me you bought a set for everybody. Now I'm looking like we the Who's in Whoville. I ain't with that. Cut it. I don't want the matching pajamas.
Those were the words of Rudy Rush and Rudy Rush only. Mick might get in trouble if he has a comment or an
you
opinion.
You can tell I ain't married. You can tell I'm not married. Hey, and last but not least, man, listen, this is near and dear to my heart. All right. So, women, just listen closely. We hate that your gift is always seemingly bigger and better and more expensive than ours. Every Christmas holiday. Now you got you got Valentine's Day and you got your birthday. You ladies really get it in on those days. You guys eat big on those days. You get big gifts on Valentine, bigger gifts on your birthday, and for Christmas, why I still got to come up short. You know what I'm saying? On my birthday, you try to give me something that I get 365.
It's
I done
special
been
on
there
your
already.
birthday, though. It's
you
special
can't
on your
listen.
birthday.
Jesus wouldn't like it if you gave away that on Christmas, so you got to get me a gift. So you go out and you get something,
Yes,
and it's never close to what I get for you. I know we all like toast. Women get men gifts that we all can use. By the way, look, I got you a TV. Everybody's watching the TV. A toaster. Oh, I got. You know what I mean? Please, ladies and gentlemen, take those rules and, each and every week. Oh, it's sponsored this week by the coconut water, by the way.
There you go.
We got a sponsor, our first sponsor.
Once upon
But
a
yeah, those are the
coconut.
top 5. So every time we come on, every show we'll have a top 5. And if you got any suggestions, hit us up and let us know.
There you go. All right, so that was your top 5. I'm gonna go with the Mount Rushmore then to kind of tie it together too. Mount Rushmore of days off or times off, right? So
nice.
What's like the Mount Rushmore of holidays or day off?
You know what? A lot of people I've never saw that. This is the first, by the way.
Exactly.
This is the first. I never thought about that, but there are times that you get off that are special, and nobody's put a Mount Rushmore on that. So I'm excited about this one.
All right. In no particular order, it's just Mount Rush, and Mount Rushmore is 4. So people like these are mine, and I don't care if you like them or don't. Like they're mine. So it is what it is. Thanksgiving, bro. Thanksgiving is special. Not just the food, it's the family, it's the togetherness. Growing up like we grew up, Rudy, Thanksgiving was the time you got to see people that.
Yep.
If they didn't come to the family reunion, you saw them at Thanksgiving, right? Like, so a lot of times we only got to see certain family members once a year. And so Thanksgiving was always that special moment for me.
No, that's funny you should say that. That's my favorite holiday. I talk about the significance of food and fellowship. No one's really required to bring presents or anything. Somebody may bring a dish or something to drink, some soda or something. But other than that, the best holiday bar none. Good choice.
Absolutely. Yeah. Then I'm going to go Christmas, because when you're a parent and you have kids, like there's nothing like those moments, especially when they're younger. As they get older, it's just money, right? But those moments, man, when your children, and if there are children listening and Santa, right? Like when they still love Santa, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
There is nothing like that joy that you see in a child's eye. And like, that's what I always will remember about Christmas. I remember Christmas for me as a kid. The one time I got the one thing I wanted, it was just like, oh my God, best day in the world. But then when you have children, man, and just to see that that thing in their eye that you can't explain, but as a parent, you know it.
Nah, though the anticipation from your kids. The funny thing about kids now, we used to get up. Remember, we used to get up at 5 and 6 o'clock in the morning. These kids are so entitled. They're like, I'll get up at 10. I'm still excited. Santa was here. They like, yeah, we know when we getting up at 10.
Yeah.
But I remember one year, Mick, we thought we weren't going to get anything. And my mother, she up and down just was like, yeah, I'm not going to be able to do what you guys need me to, Christmas is going to be different. I remember waking up one Christmas morning and it was like in 79, 80. And we had everything. I mean, it was the biggest Christmas, bikes.
Yeah.
All kind of thing. My mother was on the couch and, she had finished wrapping everything or whatever. And then I got older. I was like, what my mother do to get these presents? Because we had a stepdad come not too long after Christmas. I guess he was the one that kind of sponsored that one. So shout out to my mom for making Christmas happen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Third on, again, these are not in any order. These are just my Mount Rushmore of days off or days to celebrate. Let's just say days to celebrate. How about MLK Day, bro?
Okay.
Because of what it meant. Like, people don't understand these federal holidays and how long they've been in existence. MLK Day wasn't that long ago, man. And to think about what it means, what he stood for, the values that were there. That day is just always special for me. It's just a special day. We get the NBA, right? We get to see the Grizzlies we get to see the Memphis Grizzlies. That's like their day, right? The Grizzlies ain't never on TV except MLK Day. Like we get the Grizzlies and the Hawks.
I never even noticed
the two
that.
cities
That's
of
true. That's
Martin
true.
Luther King. Right? We get Atlanta and Memphis. And I don't even know if Memphis should be on TV or not. But hey.
That's funny. That's hilarious. I never paid attention to that, but they are on those days.
Yeah, the Hawks and the Grizzlies. They don't play each other because they got a host. Like Atlanta's going to play at home.
Lorraine Motel.
Yeah, exactly. But nah, just what that man meant to us. That day is just special. And then fourth on my list, it's a day. Like it's not even a day. I mean, everybody should take it off. I know a lot of businesses don't take it off. But Veterans Day. We wouldn't be here without what our heroes do, man. Like you've traveled the world, Rudy. Like you've been to a lot of countries. You've been on a lot of stages in a lot of countries. Every place isn't America, bro.
No.
Every place is not America. And for us to have the freedoms that we had a lot of people that currently do and will make us live in the greatest country known to man. And so Veterans Day, I think, is a way for us to appreciate the people that have been here that allowed us to do what we do. And I don't know if our veterans get enough love, but Rudy Rush and Mick Hunt love you.
I'll be honest with you, they don't. And I don't think they have a problem with that necessarily because it's just like a superhero. It's just like Batman who does all of this stuff at night and keeps all of the bad guys at bay. I've spoken to some of the young servicemen and women traveling to Japan and Hawaii and, on the West Coast and all of the military installations, the Marine. I did a tour with the Marine Corps and just talking to a master gunner who's in charge of so many different young lives and his life itself. We don't know the severity of what they have to do to endure to kind of keep our freedoms and our safety at bay. So yeah, big shout out to them. That's an awesome one. Actually, Veterans Day is definitely an awesome one that we definitely need to take more consideration about.
Absolutely. Shout out to Robert Irvine, the Robert Irvine Foundation. Like they do so much.
Yes.
For our veterans, our servicemen and women, our first responders. So shout out to them for what they do.
Yeah. So I got two dates that you left out, and I know you didn't mean to leave them out, but because it's 4 on the Mount Rushmore, but you could have an honorable mention. So
it was mine. It was mine. It was my list.
It's yours, but you left off 2.
I didn't interrupt your top 5. See?
Yeah, I know you did, but
okay,
you left 2 dates off, and I got to put them in there for honorable mention.
All right, let's go.
It's gonna be the 1st and the 15th in the hood. If the check don't drop on the 1st and the 15th, that's the best holiday. Listen, all things can go wrong if those days don't come through.
You are correct. So honorable mention, the 1st and the 15th.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. See, I thought you would agree.
You can interrupt me anytime, sir. Anytime. Anytime. Rudy, man, like, again, this is episode 1.
Yeah.
I'm honored to be doing this with you, man. Like, the power and the punchline. And for those that don't know, Rudy is both the power and the punchline. He does have like a multiple personality. I'm just here. He is the power and the punchline. I'm just kind of I'm and in the middle. He's power, he's punchline, I'm and.
Yeah, you let them think that if you want to, man. But I think we're going to have a fantastic time. This is going to be great. I'm excited, man. This got some goosebumps being the first time doing something in a long time that really meant something to me, you know, other than just jumping on some podcasts. And I've had some great people have me on their platform to talk about my story. But this is different because I'm getting to create with a buddy of mine who I feel, you know, very, very big things for us in the future. So I appreciate you for bringing me into your circle and letting me have a good time with you and starting something brand new.
I love it. If you're watching, if you're listening, make sure you tune in next week. We're going to have some fire coming next week.
Yeah.
Some really cool topics we're going to talk about. And if you're binge listening to this, go ahead and go on over to week 2 now. Like, just go to the next one. Like,
yeah, it's there. It's right there.
Press next.
We're about to do it. We're about to do it.
There you go. So I'm going to get him out of here on this, Rudy. I talked about it going in a little bit, but my ending of the day. Don't
Why
pour
don't we call it
people.
a Mickism? Like a Mickism.
The Mickism. I gave it to us earlier. I'm going to repeat it, though. Never pour into people that leave you empty. Analyze who those people are right now. The sooner you can move away from them. Again, you don't have to dismiss them. They just don't need to be right here. Yeah. They don't need to be in the circle.
I agree. No. And you can love from inside and wave to them outside of the circle. You can still show love. You don't have to be, you know, one thing I decided to be was instead of being a nice guy, not to say that nice is, I wanted to be a fair guy. Because, you know, the opposite of nice is being mean and putting up boundaries. Being fair is you still get to be the nice guy. You just don't have the tolerance for the bull that comes in with that intruders and all that stuff. So definitely, man, I definitely agree with that Mickism. That's what we're going to stamp it on, Mickism.
That Mickism. Never pour into people that leave you empty. Rudy, love you, brother.
Yeah, love you too, bro.
See everybody next week.
See y'all later. That's the power and the punchline. If this episode hit, do me a favor, rate it, review it, subscribe. That's how we keep these conversations coming. Power moves the room. The punchline makes it stick. I'm Rudy Rush. See you next time.